Very good. Very good.
Welcome to the Kindness Chronicles, where once again we hope to inject the world with a dose of the Minnesota kindness that it desperately needs. It's raining cats and dogs out there. We're building an ark.
I hope I get on it.
I hope
I get on it.
2x2. We're back in the studio. We got
Awesome.
Michael Dempsey with a special guest appearance.
Wow, the once a month.
Thank you for sitting in for KG.
He made the rainy trek over.
Steve Brown in the house.
Hi.
Jeff Hoffmein.
Hey, guys.
Hoffmein.
Yeah.
That's the German term for Jeff Hoffmein. Big weekend.
Yeah.
We went to a big fundraising event at Hill Murray. They raised over $2 million.
Holy moly.
Yeah. Half of it came from one person. So,
wow.
Matching donor.
Anonymous donor.
yeah, would love to know who it was.
That was something. That was a
very
impressive
fun.
event, a full-on huge production, which I did not expect. I thought it was going to be a little thing in the cafeteria.
Oh, no.
Huge production, great screens, a whole show of the students came up and performed.
Oh, cool.
Our friend Lino was the host, so he did
Yep.
a great job, set it up, and goofed off and did a little opening kind of a comedy bit talking about himself and where he's at. Brother
Showed a
Francis
picture
got
of
great
himself
people.
from high school and referred to it as all nose.
Yeah.
No, Lino's great. I saw Lino in church on Sunday, and he looked like he was a little tired. But he's got the cutest little kid, this little girl.
Yeah.
Oh.
Looks like a little Lino.
Yeah.
Just adorable.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
she's
great.
adorable. Claire, I haven't seen her in person, but I've seen her in videos
Yeah,
and
she's
stuff.
lovely.
That was a fun night. Thank you
Very
for
fun.
inviting my wife and my mom. My mom loved it so much she brought over some cream cheese
Oh, my
bars
God, they're
Nice.
so good.
to show her appreciation for you.
So
for
good. We all had one, and then I
was-
snuck a second one.
Yeah,
But nobody
they were
needs to
great.
know that.
Well,
Why
they were
am I sharing
delicious,
that?
but you're so transparent and honest. What were they raising money for, by the way?
Essentially scholarships for
Got
kids
it.
to go to Hill. It's a neat program. The school's doing very well.
Obviously.
It's just going great. Enough about Hill Murray.
Yeah.
We're going to check some other boxes, St. Thomas box, Hill
Bing,
Murray box,
bing.
Matamidai box.
Matamidai.
Yeah.
Okay, and off we go. Michael, you have been busy volunteering at a grade school.
Oh, my
Tell us
goodness.
about that.
Yeah.
I love you. I'm all about the service and being in
That's
service.
right. You're a real service
I'm
guy.
a real service-oriented guy. I as I'm moving through the career.
Can I just interrupt
yeah.
for a second? You ever hear somebody say orientated? I
Oh,
hate when people
orientated.
say orientated.
Yeah. Or
Obviously, you
not
don't
in
like
the-
that. It's in
no,
your book right there.
It is
That's
in the
great.
book.
Did
Yeah,
I-
thank you.
why?
No, you said oriented.
Yeah, he does.
Oh,
No,
I was going to say,
No,
did
you
I
would
just
never
say
say
oriented?
oriented.
Oh,
No,
my
we'd have to
goodness.
ask you to
yeah,
leave.
Sounded
that's
just
right.
fine.
Sorry, I just
No,
I
No, I'm
it's-
going to sip my espresso right now.
That's
Oh,
right.
thanks.
Oh, so delicious. Growing up, I was good at one thing, and that was gym class. That was it. Not math, not spelling. I wasn't really good at science. But boy, get me in a gym class, and I'm going to give 100.
What was your favorite thing you guys did in gym class?
Well, everyone else was in the spelling bee. I liked the presidential physical fitness test.
Oh,
you know,
right.
because
not me.
you would get a patch at the end, and
Yeah.
if you got like multiple years, there would be a 2 on there
Yeah.
or a 3.
Some cred.
Right, that was it. That's all
street
I
cred.
had. A gym class and recess. That was all. And my senior year in high school, because I'm such an overachiever, I had multiple study halls, but I didn't have really anything to study. So I went to the 9th grade gym teacher and said, "Can I just come to gym class?" And he was like, "Sure." And so, like my senior year gym class all the time.
Were
So-
you like almost like a PA? Would you help out or
no,
something?
I just wanted to play.
Oh, okay,
I just
okay.
wanted to play kickball or dodgeball. So I love gym class, but I just love. And then getting older, I was always a bit of a games maker with all the kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah, and your family stuff. You have lots of
Yeah.
competition
Oh,
with your
lots of
football, Christmas football. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always handicapping, so everyone's got a shot, right? I just
Nice.
love that stuff. So
Yeah.
I had this idea. I said, I'm going to volunteer at a grade school, but I only want to volunteer in gym class. Is that even a thing? And there's a grade school not far from my house, and the gym teacher was the head soccer coach for my daughters, so I knew her really well.
Okay.
So I
knew that you weren't like a creeper.
exactly. a
I want to
creeper.
come to the school.
Yeah, can I just come by? And I
You got a
only want to
sweatshirt
come
on
to
it that
your
says-
class.
You got a
No, that's-
sweatshirt that just says school on it.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Sports.
right.
Go
That's
on.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's right. So in January, I sent her a text and I said, "Hey, let's meet," because we had been joking about this. And I sat down and got to go into her office, and she said, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, I want to volunteer at the school, but I have a couple of criteria. It can only be for you and only for gym class." Like, I don't want to be reading with the kids or in the cafeteria. I just want to be in gym
All
class.
kidding aside, did you
Yeah.
have to go through like a background check and stuff like that?
Yeah, so
Well, that's
I'm
good.
sure.
Yeah.
So I want to get to that, right? So the principal at this school, actually, Michelle was on the hiring board to hire this principal, like that's my wife, 2002. So we know.
Wow. Still
yeah,
there?
You're embedded.
Yeah, he's still there. I mean, she was president of the PTO for like his first 5 years at 3 different schools. We know a lot of the people there. Our kids have just been out of school for a long time, right?
What school? Just curious.
Yeah, it's Centerview. It's in the Spring Lake Park
Oh, okay.
school district, and it's right on the campus of the National Sports Center.
Oh,
So they
cool.
put it where the velodrome, the wood velodrome used to be. Anyway, so I go there, I sit down, and I said, I just want to do gym class, and I just want to do it for you. And, I'll pick up jump ropes, right? If you need me to wrangle kids in the corner, right? Whatever you want it to be. And she said, you name it, whatever you want to do. And so I looked at my schedule and I said, listen, we'll start spring trimester every Wednesday over my lunch hour. I'll be here.
Sweet.
And I said, do I need to do a background check? I think you're good. And so
Wow, okay.
every Wednesday,
Well, I don't know about that.
I know, I got to check in. I go, and let me tell you something. It's a different class. Like sometimes it's 3rd grade, sometimes
Okay.
it's 4th grade. And I just leave there and I just play with these kids, right? I mean, it's just like
Do you dominate them like when you're playing?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's no. I mean,
Dodgeball?
there's no mercy. But you
Like
see
kids are
this,
shooting hoops and you're just rejecting
yeah. Oh
them.
yeah. Well, I mean, they're probably. I'm not a tall guy.
boom,
Third,
No, you're not.
third grade, they're rejecting
Yeah.
me. By that point, we're the same height.
That's unfortunate.
But these kids.
Yeah, what are they giving you?
The innocence of
Yeah.
these kids. These kids. They have a jump rope section and they got to do 10 spins, and then they get to move up to the next level, and just how elated they are when they get to the sort of 30, jumps and
Yeah.
the goals. And, there's these 2 kids. I remember this one situation where you had to pair off, and one kid said, Mrs. So-and-so, actually, it's Mrs. I'm going to say her name, Mrs. Doherty. She lives in White Bear Lake. She's a White Bear Lake, right?
There
Same
you go.
thing.
Long story.
Yeah. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going.
It's an extra long story.
So this kid says, Mrs. Doherty, I don't have a partner. And she said, oh, no, you do. It's Betty. I don't know what the name is. This kid's name was Mark. And you just saw this kid light up, this little boy light up. And Betty didn't have a partner, and she lit up. And it was almost like they held hands and ran over to kind of do their paired thing. And I just think as kids get older, and this will feed into, where we're going to go next.
Yeah.
But as kids get older, they get so much more jaded and worried and, in their heads.
Yeah.
But at 3rd grade, it's
You
just
haven't hit
play.
that yet.
Yes. And
Yeah.
to see those 2 like connect eyes and go, oh, good, I got a partner. Like,
Yeah.
man.
let's run off and do this.
It's like formidable moments of young.
In my head, like I volunteer in gym class, but I volunteer to get that oxytocin to
Cool.
see that.
Well, that's very fun.
among the kids. Yeah. So there you go. So I've started doing that probably a couple of months in, once a week, unless I'm traveling or out of town, and it's amazing.
That's awesome. I'm
So
glad you're doing
can
it.
we talk about that presidential fitness
Yeah,
award
yeah,
thing? Okay,
yeah.
so not very athletic, but the Minnesotan was selling winter caps.
Oh,
Okay.
the store.
And it has the patch for the presidential fitness award
Isn't it like an eagle
on the
or
hat.
something?
No, well, it looks like it looks like the president's seal.
I kind of remember that.
Right.
So I
Blue- it
bought
was
one.
navy
Yeah,
blue.
so you
Oh,
Because
forever
it was the
have
first
it.
time
I
I,
love
was
it.
ever able to. I'm going to wear it for the next show. And I remember showing up at our friend Pat Fabian had a hockey function at his house on the lake up
Yeah.
in Wisconsin. And I wore that hat, and Pat Fabian looked at me and he's like, "There's no way. There is no way you earned
You're like,
that."
I bought it.
That reminds me
Yeah.
of a story. I have a friend named Tom Bance, really good athlete, great basketball player in high school. And he was telling me the story of his two children. And I think one's name is Landon, but I think the older one threw some of his trophies away, and the younger brother who didn't earn the trophies, those are nice trophies, and pulled them out and put them up on his thing. And Tom's
Totally.
like, "That you didn't earn those. What are you doing?"
Oh, that's
and it was
so
just so
great.
funny.
The bling.
Yeah.
I just want to make one last statement about this, and that is this: the moral of me telling this story is, if you're passionate about something and you think it's just sort of the weirdest thing, but you can find a way to serve the community around that, just take a chance. Just like figure it out. I mean, nobody in their right mind that I know of is volunteering in gym class at grade schools.
Well, my problem is I get all sweaty.
Oh, I do.
Lunchtime, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I do.
But it doesn't
So
matter.
you're skipping your lunch to do
Yeah,
this?
I know it. I
Oh,
know it. I know
God.
it. Yeah, I know it.
Before we get off sports
terrible
completely, can I
idea.
just make a little
You're going to talk sports.
comment?
This is great.
I make a comment last week before I got here. You gentlemen had a sports talk last couple of shows
Yeah,
because
yeah.
KG's been on.
Yeah.
You guys go over, the Wild. You go over what's going on. He made a comment. I want to clarify. He goes, "Yeah, I understand." You said, Steve doesn't really get into that, and he goes, "Yeah, he's probably a little intimidated."
He did not say that.
I am not
Oh, no.
intimidated. I love
What
that
a
you
thing
guys.
to say.
I love how he's passionate about it, and you guys love it. I just don't have the knowledge you guys have.
Right.
I don't. I love to watch a good game. I watch the Wild. I watch the Timberwolves.
Right.
But I don't know all the details of stuff like you guys.
You're
so,
good.
So
You're good.
I gloss over. Not that I'm intimidated.
No,
I'm just
that was
not.
the wrong term. You're
I'm
not
just not
intimidated. You're a
as
tough guy.
interested.
You're tough.
I took a little. I was like,
to that.
notice. Like, hey, KG,
you know what?
I'm not
You'll be
intimidated.
okay.
I know.
It's all
I
fine.
wanted to clarify.
You know, on behalf of the Kevin Gorgs of the world, we apologize for
No apology
using
needed. I
such
just
a
want to
term.
clarify for
No.
myself. What are we
KG
doing today?
You know what? We've been talking about doing this for a while.
Yeah.
And because we have nothing better to do tonight, what we decided that we would do is let's do an ode to Rob Reiner and the life lessons of kindness and things that we learned from those Rob Reiner films.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at the full spectrum of the different films that he did,
Yeah.
he did all different kind of genres from, is that how you say that? Genres?
Genre.
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 So genres
It's like
from,
Jacques.
Yeah.
Jacques.
from comedy to rom-coms to
Horror.
films
Yeah.
to courtroom drama, maybe the greatest courtroom drama film of all time.
Oh,
But
that's one of my
every one of
favorites.
those movies, when you watch it, there is a lesson to be learned. I guess most movies have that, but there's something.
Yeah, but he does it in a way that you just you take it to heart and you feel it. It's not you don't feel like you're being spoken to or told what to believe or what to feel. He does a good job. This is a long overdue conversation. Rob Reiner, we lost him way too soon and such a long time ago, but this has been on our docket. So I love it. I love that Jeff kind of kickstarted this thing.
And Jeff did, as Jeff does.
Yep.
He put together a sort of a program.
Outline,
A retrospective.
A what, Jeff?
a little outline.
An outline. That's
Yeah.
the word.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of broken the different movies into different categories. So we're going to discuss these movies. The first one is kindness as connection and the importance of connection. And one of those movies that I saw one time, probably 40 years ago, was The Sure Thing. I think that
Oh,
might have been
yeah.
one of his first movies. I
It
think
was-
after
it was-
Spinal Tap.
I think it was right after Spinal Tap.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And very different from Spinal Tap, but you're kind of your stereotypical, rom-com.
Teen coming of age kind of movies, right? He's a college guy. He's not a teen, I guess. He's John Cusack is a college guy.
But what
Right.
what I took from that film, and here's, if you're watching us on YouTube, John Cusack before he went nuts with the political stuff. And is that Daphne
Zuniga? Is that-
from Melrose
It
Place?
is.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
Good
he's
for
the
you.
I was a Melrose Place guy. I
Good for you.
apologize.
We've
Yeah.
established that a while ago.
But the kind of the seeing and accepting others as they are.
Yeah.
The John Cusack character was sort of a kind of a nerdy guy, and they were going out to California because
They road trip together.
Yeah, his buddy said, "It's a sure thing out here. You're going to find
Right.
your girl."
Right.
Yeah.
It mirrors Harry Met Sally
It
so
does.
much, doesn't
Very
it?
similar trip.
And just the two
How they-
opposites and how they learn
Yeah.
to love each other over
Yeah.
the track. Yeah.
Their travel was really their
But here's what it did
The
for
romance.
me. Back when I saw it for the first time, what was it like 84, 85?
Yes.
I thought, you know what? Nerdy guys, they got a chance.
Yeah.
They got a chance with the good-looking gals.
That's right.
That
Yeah.
gave us hope.
It gave you
That's what
it gave you hope.
It did. And you don't have to be like Ducky from Pretty in Pink.
Ah.
You know?
He
I mean,
just
that
won
guy,
her over with his personality, and he was
Yeah.
fun. And I played.
Yeah. I two things on that movie. His buddy out in California is Dr. Green from ER, which is really
Anthony
interesting.
Edwards?
Yeah,
Yes,
that was
that's
with
right.
hair,
Yeah.
with hair.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was his buddy. But the other thing I want to call out, I love those movies where, over Harry Met Sally was the same, right? Over time, you see this sort of relationship just fuse, just get it. You don't just jump right into it. You sort of earn it along the way. And I think that's fun to go on that ride. But one thing I will point out about that era of movie, there was so many of those movies about losing your virginity.
Yeah.
Like so many of them.
Wait a minute.
Like
This is
in
the
high
Kindness Chronicles.
I'm just saying, no, like high school movies, like that was a major theme. And so he wanted to get out to California because that was the sure thing. It's just
Okay.
interesting. You don't see that as much anymore.
Michael, I was just thinking the same thing. Right before this movie came out, the era was the big party in Fort Lauderdale, spring break
Right.
movies and stuff.
Yeah,
right.
all the
MTV was
kind of junk teen movies, just
Right.
like
Porky's.
yes, all that kind of stuff. But this one is playing on that with that as the backdrop.
Yeah.
But it creates a way better. That's the backdrop of he wants to get out to where the fun is.
Right.
But it's this.
It was
really
a sleight of hand.
discovery through
yeah,
that
it
process.
looked like a sex quest for the
Yeah.
Yes,
but then
yeah.
it became this great
way better.
learning
Way,
about
so good.
instead of objectifying her, they really learned that. Yeah.
Right. Right. Right.
Didn't it seem like we lived like when we were that age, when
Yeah.
we were 15, 16, 17, that era of movies from Pretty in Pink to The Breakfast Club to 16 Candles to this movie that
Right.
we're talking about
Right.
here. Do they make movies like that
No.
anymore?
No.
They
It
used
was
to
the
be geared
golden
towards
age.
teenagers, and now they just aren't as much.
It seems like
it's-
Hollywood is meant
I
for
think that
Marvel
that's-
now.
kid
Yeah,
movies are huge, and then there's like jump out scare horror movies for teen and 20 somethings, and
Right.
and then there's A24
I
movies.
just feel
for me.
that's why people from our generation are better than the people of
Oh, are we better?
No,
But Fast Times at Ridgemont High, all of
Yeah.
that was high school. It was Stick It
and
to
the
Man.
soundtrack from those movies.
Yes.
They don't have good soundtracks
No,
anymore.
No,
There's no soundtracks. I don't like it.
They don't.
And then how about Spinal Tap? This is Spinal Tap, one of the greatest, funniest movies of all time.
so good.
We've mentioned it before. I don't know how it connects with kindness, except it's really self-effacing and making.
We're a little off topic
Well,
today.
it-
Who
it-
gives
There's a little
shoe?
subtitle under the thing: seeing and accepting others as they are. And
Yeah.
the play on that is Rob, was the documentarian filmmaker, and
Yeah.
as goofy as those guys were and idiotic, and he never pointed it out and said, "Well, this is screwed up." He just let them be who they were.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it
they
was-
basically they're supposed to be cool rock stars, but they really you see how kind of pathetic they are, and it's silly, and just like so much ego and so ridiculous.
Is there a favorite
It's beautiful.
scene you have?
I like so many scenes. I could kind of walk you through every great scene in the movie, but the shot you had right there, that's Marty DeBurgi, that's Rob Reiner talking with Nigel Tufnell was his
Yeah.
name. He's the lead guitar player, and he is based on Jeff Beck slightly. He kind of looks like Jeff Beck.
Okay.
He does.
Not that Jeff Beck is a dope or was a dope. He's gone
deceased,
now.
yeah.
Anyway, the scene where he's looking at guitars, and that I've seen a documentary about all the guitars in that room that was brought by a certain guitar shop in Los Angeles, and so he's provided all kinds of great guitars in movies. But that scene where he's looking at guitars and he goes, well, he's giving them a tour, and he goes, well, this one, he goes, this still got the tag on it. He goes, well, let me look at that. He goes, no, don't even look at it.
He wouldn't let him touch it.
He wouldn't
it was
touch
so
anything.
pristine.
And
He's
then, of
like, "Can I
course-
look at it?" He's
Yeah.
like, "No,
no,
you
don't.
Can't even
Let's
look
move
at
on. Like it's this
But,
beautiful
but
room.
how Nigel was holding the
Ridiculous.
guitars, he just super gently
Yeah.
like
That's how collectors do it,
was
though.
so funny. And he's like, look at this flame, look at this fire
Yes,
on the front.
it's just you can go out have a go sandwich and just let it go. It's sustains. So all those little moments right there in the movie, and then I think right here they're talking about the amp, which is the classic.
Yeah.
This goes to 11.
211.
And Marty DeBerge's like, well, why don't you just make 10 louder? And he doesn't understand. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
that to me was like, I saw this movie in the theater. I told you guys this before. In 1984, me and my friend went. We're 14 years old, and we're like, we knew it was about rock and roll. We loved heavy metal music, and we're like, we walked up and we kind of laughed, like that was kind of funny. We didn't know it was a comedy.
Oh
We're
my
like,
God!
that
You
was
didn't
funny.
know it was a mockumentary.
We didn't know.
You thought
We
it
were
was a
just loving every bit of it, all the
Yeah.
guitars, and anyway, it's a classic. And I don't know how it has to do with kindness, except for maybe self-realization.
Let me go to the kindness piece, because Rob Reiner obviously was Meathead in All of the Family for many years, and he provided such depth to that character.
Totally.
So great. The role that he played. Well, All in the Family ends, and it's a long time between All in the Family and Spinal Tap. So from a kindness perspective,
what a twist too.
Somebody had to say, you're Meathead, but I'm going to give you a chance with this documentary. Someone had to show some kindness and grace.
Did he play Rob Reiner in the? Was he playing
The
himself
documentarian?
in the
He's
mockumentary?
playing Marty DeBerge. He's
Okay,
a
that's what I
filmmaker.
thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's his movie.
Hollywood gave him that movie.
they-
Why did they do that?
I'm sure
Yeah.
Norman Lear probably was produced it or something
think he
and gave
did.
him that chance.
But
or
that was
launched him.
that's a long window between Meathead and
It
Spinal
is.
Tap, and somebody
70
had to demonstrate some kindness and grace to say,
True.
well, I think you can pull it off.
Yeah.
And they gave him the chance.
Yeah.
Before moving on, you bring up All in the Family, and All in the Family to me was so genius because it addressed these complex social issues with humor and sincerity.
Norman
Like
Lear.
really
Yes.
no television show since. People say, oh, that couldn't be made anymore. I think it needs to be made right now because it addresses things with humor. And it's just, we live in a world that doesn't accept humor anymore.
Yeah.
It's like everybody is so wanting to be, I don't know, offended by things. And it's just, it's such I don't know.
The comedy is what allowed the conversation to flow.
Correct.
Back then.
Yes.
You're right.
Yeah.
And now everybody's so worried about staying on their side and being divisive that they don't even want to laugh at it.
And it was a 2-generation show. That's why you had people watched it because they loved Archie, even though he was kind of a curmudgeon. But that was kind of their generation with older people. And then you got Meathead and his wife, and they're older and they're younger. They're the more the hippie generation.
Yeah.
And then there's Edith. Yeah.
But I think this plays through, if we go on to the next sort of chunk of movies. What plays through is, even if you go to Meathead and then you go to Spinal Tap and you go to what was the road trip movie? Sure thing. Right. So it looks like the show's a sitcom on the surface. You're like, oh, it's a sitcom, or Spinal Tap is just a rock movie, or Sure Thing is just a coming of age movie. All of his movies on the surface look like, oh, I've seen that before.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you watch them and there's such depth
Yeah.
to
He puts
them.
his fingerprint
it's
on them. Yeah.
subversive in a
Such
good
depth.
way.
Yes, such depth. And around the idea of kindness, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm emoting. I'm having this feeling about it that I didn't expect to have, which is great transition into the second chunk of movies that you put up.
And the second chunk, we've got it here as kindness as loyalty and love. And the two movies that really sort of embody that are Stand By Me and The Princess Bride.
Oh my goodness.
Also a couple of just incredibly well done films.
Yeah.
Stand By Me was based on a Stephen King, I think, novel called The Body.
Yeah.
And I've never read it, but I just saw that in the credits. I remember watching it, and they're looking for this kid that got hit by a train or something happened, but that's the journey.
Yeah, and all about friendship in the late
Yes.
50s, and the fact that they had Richard Dreyfuss doing the narration.
Right.
It just
Warm and
it was warm.
Yeah.
I mean, honest to God, we lived during the greatest
It's true.
era of movies of all time.
What's interesting about, you're talking about Stand By Me, and I agree as well, but the tie back to You'll Shoot Your Eye Out and the discussion about A Christmas Story,
Yep.
just the innocence and magic of that age, the innocence of magic of, a young boy between sort of 9 and 12, and how you let yourself sort of experience different things in different you walk in as the tough guy, or you walk in and you watch Stand By Me, and you know that these relations are cemented for life. And then you contrast that with the older brothers that are competing to find the body.
Yes.
And their jaded sort of look at life, and you see this innocence and
Kind of
purity.
bullies and-
It's great. It's just like the guy in the Christmas Story, the kid in Christmas Story, right? The purity of that.
He said in the final voiceover, he said, "I never had any friends later on like the ones I had when I was 12."
Yeah.
That was great.
And
This
those
is a
four
great line.
actors, their careers have gone different places. Obviously, River Phoenix was died of the drug overdose, but
Corey.
Will Wheaton, Corey
Feldman.
Feldman, who's he's a different cat.
Yeah, he's out
And then
there.
Jerry O'Connell, who's kind of a chubby guy in this.
Yeah.
He's now married, I think, to Rebecca Romaine.
He's still a very successful
good.
actor.
Yeah, that
But-
was a great movie.
Yeah, something about it really. And I wasn't, we weren't that when I saw this. I was a teenager. I was like,
Right.
I was older than this. I was like, but yeah, what it did about nailing down your childhood, reminiscent of your childhood friendships when you're just cruising around without parents and you're just riding bikes and all day, and you probably shouldn't be where you should be. You're not looking for a dead body, but what a great reason.
But here's the other thing about this movie is how you for the first time are seeing outside of your four walls, your house.
Yes.
Right? And you are being exposed to your buddy Larry, and what's coming out is how Larry exists in his four walls, and it's completely different.
Not
and
safe. It's not very safe.
Right.
And it's great
And
that way.
you're finally sort of opening your eyes to something beyond you. It reminds me of a story I actually heard on This American Life. This guy was talking about, I was 10 or 11 and I made friends with this guy, and I went to his house after school to get snacks, and I opened the fridge, and he said, and there was beer in that fridge. And I'd never seen beer in a fridge. And I thought, are these guys, special agents? Like, he had never seen beer in a fridge. But just imagine that. I mean, if you're 9 and that's all you knew, it's the same as in the movie.
Or just something about getting on your bike when you're younger. Like, it changes your life when you can explore and push further than you were. You're out of your yard, like, wow, look at us.
Which
Yeah.
I gotta
Riding
tell you,
around. Yeah.
I was at the Freedom in Matamidi on, I think it was Sunday. It was Sunday after church.
The gas station? Is that a gas station?
It's a gas station.
Okay.
And there were these two little guys. They had to have been 10 years old, and they were riding their bikes.
Yeah.
And they each had 2 bottles of Squirt
Oh, yeah.
and a whole bunch of candy.
Yeah.
And they went up to the counter. I was trying to get to a car wash, and we couldn't figure out how to do that. But the one kid pulls out his wallet, and he pulls out a $20 bill, and I'm like, well, somebody's loaded. And he looked at me, and goes, birthday money.
Oh, that's so
But
great.
these kids were
Candy.
so polite
Yeah.
and so sweet, and it just gave me hope. And then they pedaled off on their bikes.
Yeah.
The guy had the bag of candy hanging off of one of the handlebars.
Yeah.
They're looking for a dead body.
That's probably hopefully. How about Princess Bride? One of my
Princess
favorite movies of all
Bride.
time.
It has been a staple at my house since my kids were little. And even when their cousins came over, I know I could put that movie in. Everybody loved it. And they didn't, they're like,
Young or old, everybody loved it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw that in the theater as well.
No.
So good.
Yeah. Inconceivable.
I
Yes.
didn't even know about it until college, and someone put it in, and it was a great film. But it was one of those that just I missed in the theater.
It's just a surprise.
Yeah.
Surprise depth of like comedy and message and feeling and vibe and the romance and just the farm boy, how he's just
Yeah.
like dedicated to her, and Inigo Montoya, which is something that this is
God.
funny. We introduce on stage the band. I'll introduce everybody, and I'll do. You probably saw this before, Michael. This is an old thing. We would I introduce everybody, and people clap, and then I would say, "My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die." And then we go into this like Hispanic, like
Oh, that's
Spanish
funny.
music. People love that. I never
Yeah.
said my name. I just said my name is Inigo Montoya. I love the movie, and I love Mandy Patinkin in that movie.
And You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. Greatest.
Andre the
greatest.
Giant's amazing in it.
Oh, the whole thing is just fantastic.
Okay, what's the kindness angle, Jeff?
This is the actor that
Mandy Patinkin.
Yeah, exactly, and I don't know if it's going to work here with the internet. We've got slow internet.
We got slow internet. We
he ended up seeing the scene like later on. He played the character when he was 30, and then 20 years later, he saw the scene, and this is my second favorite line, and it escaped me when I was 30, but the line was, I've been in the revenge business so long, I don't know what to do with my life. And it was sort of a great life lesson of don't focus so much on revenge. And
what a great line.
Yeah, I think that's just another example of you think you're going in to see this sort of slapstick kind of comedy, sort of farcical sort of scenario, but if you actually watch it, I mean, there's a richness to all of the relationships. There's a depth to all the relationships, wrapped in kind of the silliness. But
it's just so charming.
Yeah,
it's just so charming.
And it goes back to it's really a grandpa reading a book to his grandson,
right?
Yeah.
Which is even
Fred
more
Savage.
heartwarming. Yeah.
Remember when Fred Savage
Columbo.
was on the KQ morning show?
No.
The Chucker interviewing Fred
I was
Savage.
going to say, was it a Talk with Talk, or was it
No,
the Chucker?
it was the Chucker on Power 92.
What was he do? What was he
Radio.
Power.
He kept on confusing him with Doogie Howser.
of
God,
course.
it was so good. Go to YouTube, look that one up. Come again. Okay, now we got to move to.
This is your
quite
movie.
literally my wife and I. It's our favorite movie. When Harry Met Sally. She and I were, we dated, then we became friends, and then my mother said, why don't you two date each other? We kind of looked at each other like, nah, I don't think so.
Really? This is after you worked together for a long time?
We worked together at Target, and we just, and 30 years later. Look
Wow,
at us.
that's awesome. I didn't know that.
Started working at Target in 1990.
Okay.
Because we graduated. She graduated on time. I took an extra semester.
which is common then.
But we worked at Target together. We opened a couple of stores together.
Okay.
And just started hanging out and having fun. And, she moved to Chicago.
You broke her down.
And I got really, And then we moved together to North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
And, it was lovely.
So
But
86,
the point is,
you meet in 86, you start working together in 90.
90.
And it's so that's
And we
a long
got
time.
engaged
That's a
in
long time.
94.
So the New Year's Eve confession,
Oh,
they say that's choosing love over pride
Yeah.
as a message point, right? And then the aging couples documentary cutaways, love is a long game is the message there. And post breakup friendship moments, showing up even when it's awkward.
Yeah.
So on the filmmaking aspect, Rob Reiner wants to make all his films timeless, and so you hear that in the soundtrack, even Stand By Me and the Sure Thing's got some Cars and Rod Stewart, so it sort of puts it in that era. But he talked about Harry Connick Jr. and the jazz standards as giving it a timeless feel, and I bet that's a good reason why it still stands the test of time.
And it really romanticizes New York in the fall. That's a big moment. That's a big feel of it. You feel that fall moment.
It's true.
The song "It Had to Be You" was the first song Becky and I danced to at our wedding.
cool.
Beautiful.
I love it. Did you practice?
And what was fun? No, and I looked so stupid dancing, but we liked it because it had to be you.
Right.
Ours was more like. I guess it had to be you.
Well, your mom said, "Why don't you guys?"
Actually,
Yeah,
it's
I
a
guess
great,
it has to
it's,
be you.
It's a great story and theme.
And the greatest line in movie history was delivered in the
cafe.
cafe.
Oh, that's right.
Well, yeah, that's
I'll
the
have
most
what
memorable.
she's having.
Yeah.
That's right.
And isn't that Rob Reiner's mom?
It is.
Yeah.
That's the greatest.
I will say this talking about kindness, and we've talked about this before in that movie. One of the very poignant reoccurring points is that you don't tell the person exactly what they want to hear. There are many points where Billy Crystal is saying to her the truth, like the truth about something,
Because they were just friends, right?
because they were just friends,
Yeah.
right? But and she did the same because they
Yeah.
went off and had different relationships, and they were just honest as the day is long with one another. Again, something we've talked about nice versus kind, and they're sort of being kind with one another,
Being truthful, being
Yeah,
real.
Yeah.
And what's funny is Billy Crystal talked about when Rob Reiner pitched this to him. Billy Crystal's like, me as a leading man in a rom-com? Are you kidding me? And he killed it. I
great.
thought he was perfect. He was very real.
Right.
Rob Reiner normalizes awkward vulnerability, and I think that's exactly nails what you're saying. It was just
Incidentally,
truthful and awkward
in preparation for this, I was watching some Siskel and Ebert reviews of these movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
Old
Ebert,
Yeah.
he was the
bigger guy.
the bigger guy.
Roger
Yeah.
Ebert.
He was so bothered by the fact that, or one of them was bothered by the fact that scene with Meg Ryan in the cafe doing that would never happen in real life, and the other guy's like, "It's in a
comedy,
movie.
yeah.
It's in a movie.
You're ruining it.
Right.
Yeah, it was just, it was one of those
That's why it
moments
was
where
so
they're
funny.
like, "You're an idiot."
Oh.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are those guys both dead?
They are.
I think
Are
they
they?
are. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used
that
to
was-
watch that show all the
You
time.
know, that was speaking of our era growing up. When that was on, I would stop and watch Siskel and Ebert. That was
So
just
did I.
part of the fun of this golden age of movies. Speaking of, another movie in that era is Misery.
Oh,
and this
boy.
is we're talking about kindness as honesty and truth, all right, and courage. So
I don't know where this comes.
Honesty and boundaries. So yeah, I don't remember. I saw this movie and loved it and was scared by it, but I think where this fits in with the honesty is
This is a stretch.
Yeah.
he was writing, and she wanted the character to, I can't even remember the name of the character, but she was frustrated with
Yeah,
James
the
Caan.
character's name was Misery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Misery's
And
Child.
No, that's a book. That's the name of the book.
No, but
No,
that was the name of the character.
Oh, yes, yes.
That Paul Sheldon, or is that
Yes,
his name?
Paul Sheldon,
was
yep.
writing.
Yeah.
So what's crazy is the scene where she hobbles him.
Yeah. That scene right there.
That's right. Look at his feet.
That's
Ready
horrible.
to get hit.
Do you know
Yeah.
what happens in the book?
No, and I don't know if I want to know.
She cuts off his feet.
Oh,
Okay.
my
She doesn't just break them; she cuts them off.
Well, okay, so that's where the horror lies in for me, not in the gore, but what is horrifying is that she's like this super fan, very sweet, but then she turns and
Oh,
she's
she
so.
did.
I think people are very scary in that realm when they seem like they're very sweet and then they turn, which is a very Minnesota kind of
I know,
thing.
I know.
Where they're nice to your face and they're
What's go- hey,
in the
what's
back.
she saved him?
what's going on at home, Steve?
No.
Do you, I mean,
No,
what's happening?
I'm just fine, but I get scared of characters like that, or even like you hang with people, and if they get like drinking or something, then like they turn different.
yeah.
Like
they get
Oh.
mean.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I know
or
a
they go-
person that's
it happened to me in college. One guy
that
that I knew really well, and then he got really drunk, and he was like, "Would you say?" I'm like, "Wait, no, you're gonna take a swing at me? What?
Right.
I know you. I'm the band guy. Come
We're
on,
friends.
Yeah.
friends.
scary. That is a scary thing.
She won an Academy Award for that.
Right.
She's amazing.
She did an amazing job. It's
Unlikely character,
but is so out of the pantheon of his movies. That's the one where you're like, this is
What?
not. This is the outlier, right?
Rob
this is the
Reiner?
outlier.
Meathead did this. That's what I remember saying.
Oh, of Reiner's movies.
Yes,
Yes,
of Reiner's movies. I will just make a comment though, because this is based on a Stephen King book.
Another one.
Stand by
Yep.
Me was based on a Stephen King book.
He found something. There
He
that-
did, and also I knew all the homework, so there may be other movies that he did that were based on a book, but it's a rare scenario where I believe, and I want your opinion, John, because you read the book, the movie is just as good as the book, if not better. Whereas a lot of times you watch a movie and you're like, well, that's crap.
Well, just to set the record
Yeah.
straight, I did not read the book.
Oh,
I don't read
okay.
books.
Okay, forgot.
I read that I probably saw it on a YouTube video. I'm not a reader. I'm not a strong reader. It's like the guy in I'm not a strong swimmer.
Right. That was
Remember?
Martin
Oh,
Short.
I love that.
That SNL short.
I'm
We're
not
gonna-
a strong swimmer.
This is the one of the points of comment is that this is where kindness is fake. Kindness is fake versus genuine.
Yeah.
So that's what I was trying to say. But also, why empathy without boundaries becomes dangerous.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Princess Bride was a William Goldman
book. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's just rare that you take a book, you create a film,
and the film is better than the book.
yeah,
That's
or
usually
even
the
on par.
opposite.
And I mean, those are three examples where you watch the these films, Stand By Me, Princess Bride, Misery, you're like, oh my goodness, that holds up. That's just as impactful.
And he's still going. What's the next one, Jeff?
Well, we've got A Few Good Men, and you brought up the horror genre. How could I think of Rob Reiner with that? And I thought the same thing when I realized he wrote A Few Good Men, or was a part of it. I don't think he wrote it; he collaborated on it, and directed it. But room drama. So he probably these were probably bucket list items for him.
Yeah,
to capitalize on, and what a great movie.
But here's the thread though. Like if you watch A Few Good Men, there's a lot of one-on-one relationships that are developing. The two Marines,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Tom Cruise
and the loyalty to each other.
Yeah, Tom Cruise and Kevin Bacon. They definitely have some sort of relationship. Right?
They played baseball against each other. And
Yeah,
but
they didn't hate each other, right? Tom Cruise and
Kiefer Sutherland.
No, who's the
Demi
lawyer?
Moore.
Demi
Moore.
Moore, and how their relationship evolves over time. So I agree it was a courtroom piece, but more than that, it was how these relationships sort of develop, these one-on-one relationship develop. And how about the end when those Marines are still convicted?
And private, so when the one Marine said to the other Marine, we should have been there for Private Santiago.
Yeah, right.
We let him down. That to me is the whole...
Protecting the vulnerable within systems of power. That's one of the kind of elements. And also, kindness doesn't avoid confrontation. It demands integrity.
Yeah.
I demand it.
And
you want me on that wall.
Yeah. When you have people that are in positions of power and they're bullies, there's nothing... I mean, it's very difficult to battle that level of power.
I also, as a side note, I really appreciate that there was never like a romance going on.
Right.
That was like, it didn't
He
need it.
skipped all
And they
that.
were smart enough to go, don't do that. Just, they're colleagues, and it was just really a lot of tension between everybody. But Noah Wiley is in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
That's him right there, Noah Wiley. And Tom Cruise looks like he's freaking 18 years old in this
It's
movie.
amazing.
He just got done shooting Risky Business there. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
That was 10
He
years
still
previous.
looks
Yeah, that
young.
was like, what, 94, 95, somewhere in that era?
Actually, I was 92 this one.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
When was the
92?
Firm done?
96. I
No.
A couple years
90.
later. Might have been 94.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But great film, great rich characters. Personal,
Kevin Pollak is awesome in it.
Yeah.
personal relationships.
Lieutenant Weinberg, that was his counterpart. Remember
And a
that?
little insight into, it's a court drama, but it's a military court drama, which is kind of a new, it was a different way to look at it. Oh, I guess they have court as well. It's like their own court.
Who's going to do it? You,
Yeah.
you, Lieutenant
Frightening.
Weinberg.
Frightening.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Such a
was.
great...
Jack did amazing.
He was great. Another movie, The Bucket List. You mentioned Bucket List.
Yeah.
The Bucket List with Morgan Freeman. I mean, that was a lovely movie as well.
This is one I have not seen yet, so I'll just listen to the three of you guys.
If I have, it's been a long time, and I remember the gist of it, but tell me what you got out of this one.
So Jack is this sort of corporate healthcare kind of mogul capitalist, right? Cutting costs so that hospitals can make more money, so he can make more money. He ends up in the hospital himself, and then Morgan Freeman, who's he was a mechanic. He owned a garage for a bit, had a health scare, ended up in the same room with Jack. And the initial sort of meeting was, Jack feeling like he was above it all. And Morgan Freeman was like, what's going on? And then they develop this relationship while they're in that hospital room. And Jack finds out that Morgan has a bucket list, and Jack has buckets of money. And through that relationship, Jack says, okay, let's go cross some of these things off. And they forge that relationship.
And it's really about mortality.
Is it sort of like a guy's
self-discovery.
version of Thelma and Louise? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe a little bit.
Well, because along the journey, they're reconciling with their own personal demons and the decisions they've made along the way as they're dealing with their mortality or they're dealing with their runways getting shorter.
Yeah.
And so they start to focus on these things that are really important, not
End
money.
of life kindness is what one of the points was. And also why shared laughter heals fear. So about mortality, your fear that the end is coming. They gone out and just lived it up.
But the thing I'll say about this movie is what you see demonstrated a lot is people. Neither of these guys takes immediate offense to one another. They give each other grace, allowing there to be an opportunity to develop a relationship. Because Jack in this movie is a hardcore capitalist that's just trying to make a lot of money, and he says a lot of things that are really offensive, and he's very brisk and abrupt. And so Morgan Freeman could take offense to that and just shut down, but he doesn't. He gives Jack some time to open up, and Jack the same with Morgan Freeman. And so the idea here is that give people some dang grace every now and again.
Yeah.
Give them a little bit, and you might be shocked at what's under the surface and what's then made available to you.
Sounds like they met on the level, as John likes to say.
Yep. And what I think that the theme of this podcast this week is these movies. If you're looking for an opportunity to get some oxytocin moving, every one of these movies, kind of, maybe not Misery so much. That one's a little
Still good though.
it's great. It's great. Right. But the movies that are coming out right now are either remakes or they're garbage. I mean, there's just not a lot of good stuff.
You gotta
coming
dig.
out.
There's so much content. There's a lot out there. You can't brush it with bad
I'm
stuff.
gonna though.
Old guy.
Absolutely. It's
But
all garbage. Back in the 80s.
There's a lot of stuff out there. It's almost too much. You can't decipher what's good. But there's good stuff out there that has good messages. But I will say, kind of what you're saying, Michael, is that. Yep. Thank you. Rob Reiner picked all this stuff. Yeah, these are written and put together by other people, but there's a continuity about that feel for all these movies. Even Misery, I think, has some of that. But that's the brilliance of Rob Reiner, is that you could have a great script and make a terrible movie. He kept it all together and he funneled that message and got it out there.
He did have good material to work with.
He did.
Aaron Sorkin was the guy that wrote
A Few Good Men.
Good Men and
did he?
The American President. And
Oh,
Aaron
wow.
The American President was also a Rob Reiner movie
Yeah.
with Michael Douglas and Annette Bening.
Yep.
And that was kind of what led to the movie or the TV series The West Wing.
Oh, wow.
And Sorkin also,
That's right.
I think, wrote what's the movie about Facebook? Social Network?
Oh, yes.
he did.
Yeah.
Another
Aaron
fantastic.
Sorkin's very famous for writing a script that you have to follow his script exactly. You don't mess off the words. You have to stay
He
with.
seems like he might be a
That's
little,
what-
bit,
that's
little
what it is, yeah.
precious.
I think that the one thing I'll also say to kind of put a bow on this is that Rob Reiner did that we can't lose sight of, and because we are, many people are, let's use humor, right? Rob Reiner uses humor to sort of break everybody down,
Yeah.
put
Disarm.
everybody in the level, disarm, right?
Yep.
He uses humor to do that in a brilliant way, makes everything open, and then he hits you with the
Yep. The heart stuff.
with the heart stuff. But man, he's brilliant at using that humor like nobody else besides Misery. But yeah,
But that's how he grew up. Look at whose dad was, and
Yeah.
all his friends were the funniest people in comedy.
Mel
in the
Brooks.
50s, 60s, and 70s.
Yeah.
Is Mel Brooks still around? He's got to be 100 years old.
He is still
I
around.
think he is.
Yep.
Yeah.
asking the wrong guy. I
When
don't know.
Carl
Carl
because
Reiner just passed. I think.
They not long ago.
No.
'Cause, but the two of them, I guess, Carl Reiner and Mel Brooks,
Gosh.
visited every day. I
Yeah, they
think,
had
over
dinner
coffee
with
or
each other.
dinner. Yeah.
Well, thanks for. Can I just say before we end, like, thanks for inviting me into this particular podcast episode.
Well, we knew you'd be good at this one.
Great to hear. Have you?
No, I mean, just you're a pop culture guy. This is to me, this is a great topic for our show.
Yeah.
It's I think we got to do more talkers, things that people. In fact, I would like to conclude this episode with a quiz, and I stole this from another podcast that I listened to today. But I want to ask you guys. Wall Street Journal did a survey of what do you think that the top inventions in the history of the United States that were invented in the United States. Let's just throw some ideas out
Top
there.
inventions.
Well, the Wright brothers with the
Wright-
airplane.
so,
No, I would say
Ford-
telephone.
Ford
So,
in the car.
let me tell you. So this was. I'm just gonna find this here.
You're going to quiz us? You're going to tell us?
No, you're guessing.
Okay,
So
okay.
The
So
telephone was
telephone?
number 7.
Airplane?
Airplane was number. Where the hell is it on here? It's on here. Oh, number 5.
Refrigerator.
Great guess. Refrigerator is number 9.
Personal computer?
The PC is number 4.
Oh,
Wow. What's
Microwave?
Nope.
Okay.
automobile?
Automobile, the Model T Ford was number 12.
Where's the
12.
telegraph on there?
Not on here.
Okay.
Gosh, what other
Film, movie.
Nope.
Okay.
Television.
TV. Yeah.
Television is number 14.
Tupperware?
Tupperware is number 7. No.
I thought for sure.
Number 1,
Yeah.
the internet.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Right.
Number 2, light bulb. Number 3, I never would have guessed because I don't really even know what it is. Integrated circuitry.
Oh, that's
Like
what runs your
electronics.
computers.
Yeah,
That's what runs your
microchips.
computer. Yeah.
PC, the airplane, AC/DC power,
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
the telephone, the smartphone, refrigeration, nuclear power, the polio vaccine, GPS. Do you know who invented GPS?
I have no idea.
Yes.
Who?
Don't be a liar.
No, it's a movie actress.
No. It was the military. It was the Pentagon.
Okay, I'm gonna
Was it
return with the story.
It's a movie actress that worked for the Pentagon.
They got it from her. She did the process.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
Look it
Wow.
up. Hold on.
No, that's good. You don't have to look it
I
up.
know, I
I
can-
believe you.
No,
Yeah.
it's like Hedda Harper or something. Hedda Harper.
Shirley Temple. We know.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Hold on. GPS.
Television, AI, fiber optics. Didn't work for us today. We got this new fiber optics thing, whatever. The automobile assembly line, email, air conditioning,
Yeah.
lasers,
Oh, lasers.
chemotherapy, MR. That's exactly the lasers. The commercial steamboat,
Oh,
and then number 25, the birth control pill.
interesting. I would say 80% of the greatest inventions that you nailed off that list were all intended to get us closer together as human beings. 80%.
Oh yeah, think about that.
80%. The telephone, the light bulb, air conditioning, right? All of it lended to the possibility that we could connect and be connected longer in a more significant way.
Interesting.
Good
Yeah,
observation.
they were talking about the biggest mistake that was ever made was air conditioning, because in Washington, D.C., everybody used to go home for the summer because it was so sweltering and they
Swampy.
make bad decisions. You know, you got to give yourself a break from all the bad decisions that are made in D.C. Anyway, I just thought that was fun.
It's fun. That is good.
You're welcome.
I'm mistaken. It wasn't Hedda Harper, and that was a different thing. But I'll
Head
give
of Harper. What is
I'll
Head
get
of
a
Harper?
report on that. Oh,
On
it's
the
like-
GPS thing.
Yeah, the GPS was developed by Defense Department, but it was Bradford Parkinson, Ava Getting, and Roger Easton. And
Yeah, those aren't.
And that's
those
what
aren't famous
TikTok
actors.
says. That's what TikTok says.
no, I've seen this before, and it's an African American woman named Gladys West was a basis of that invention.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah.
That must mean we're done.
Well,
this has been terrific.
Yeah.
That's great, guys.
Rob
Great
Reiner,
insights.
Rob
finally,
Reiner.
he gets his due.
Oxytocin. Off we go.
Get on the YouTubes.
Slam that subscribe button.
Slam that subscribe button. There you go.
Thanks, Michael.